Try the 5K competitive course or the 2.5K fun run. Be concrete in what you stand for. Sign up today at concretehero.org or 323-462-HERO. concretehero.org.
Welcome back, everybody, to New York. All right, Mel, the quarterback board. Russell Wilson has gone. Osweiler's gone earlier tonight to Denver. Now who?
Now you have Nick Foles, strong-arm quarterback, pocket guy, not real mobile, puts a lot of pressure on that offensive line. Kirk Cousins, articulate, smart, and tangible guy, great leader. John Gruden's raved about him throughout the quarterback camp and thereafter. And, of course, guys, late rounders from Kenny, Coleman, and Harnish on down.
Now it's time for our GMC Never Say Never moment. And it involves one of those quarterbacks who you saw, Kirk Cousins, 2 amazing comebacks in 2011. Versus number 6, Wisconsin in October, a Hail Mary touchdown. You talked about this, Coach, to Keith Nickel. Michigan State beat Wisconsin and Russell Wilson 37-31 in miraculous fashion. The other, the Outback Bowl against number 16, Georgia. Fourth quarter comeback, Cousin leads the game to tied. 14 seconds to go in the third overtime. After all of Cousins' work, Dan Conroy kicks a 28-yard field goal. Michigan State up 3, and then the Spartans block Georgia's field goal, so they win the game 33-30. He's a winner, a 2-time captain. So, guys, let's talk about Kirk Cousins. We've seen Wilson go from the very same league. What about Cousins? We can go around the horn, Coach.
I like Cousins for a lot of the things you just said. I like what Michigan State has done there under D'Antonio, the head coach. And it all starts with their quarterback. He's a great leader. He's an excellent passer. And he does a lot at Michigan State. They play under the center. They play in the shotgun. They give him the freedom to use hand signals and audible. He's far along mentally. And he has better than average athleticism. I think he's got a real good future. There's a lot of teams in this league that don't have Kirk Cousins as a backup and future developmental project. If the right team gets him in a couple years, they'll be happy they did.
I look at him, and I hear a lot about the arm strength. I don't see it being a problem. People say he has marginal arm strength. I think his arm strength is good enough. If his timing's on, then he can make throws down the field. I also think that he's accurate as a passer. He can get better with his projection and down the field throwing the ball consistently, but I think overall he's good there. The only real issue I have with him is when the initial play breaks down, does he feel the pocket collapsing around him, and does he create? Does he make proper things happen after? That's the one issue and the one area I think he needs to work on.
The red zone. John talked about how articulate, how smart he is. In the red zone, he did struggle. 49.2% in the red zone, some interceptions. He had pretty good talent around him. B.J. Cunningham, you got Keyshawn Martin at wide receiver, Keith Nickel, the former quarterback, a lot of tight ends that could get down the field and make some plays. Good running game. I think you look at Kirk Cousins, certainly has a chance. He'll get an opportunity to be a starting quarterback. Ranked teams, he struggled a little bit there, but the red zone really bothered me, and I think that's the concern moving forward. I would say overall average tools, is that fair? I think starting potential, but here we are in the third round. We thought he'd be off the board somewhere in round 3. We'll see. It's not over yet.
All right, now wait a minute. He'll go. Foles throws a good deep ball. Let me ask you guys, so what's the most important trait to have as a quarterback? One word. What is it? What is it, Coach? What do you think? Win?
Win.
How about win?
Win.
Yeah, well, how about win? There's a guy at Boise State. I don't care. He's too little. Hey, towers over Russell Wilson. Kellen Moore, 50-3. He's 50-3. 70% completion, 4-year starter, 14,000 yards. Somebody, if not in the third round, I get it. Tomorrow, you want a guy that you want on your team? Kellen Moore, he wins. What else do you want? All right, I know. Now you're going to, he can't. Russell Wilson,
I'm not going to break up that moment, Boomer. That was a good moment.
Pick him. Mel looking at me like I'm you now. I become you after all these years. Just a public service announcement. At any rate, where were we before I got derailed? Dallas picked Tyrone from Boise State. You see, that's why I got on that tangent. Mike Martin, defensive tackle, Tennessee. I know you like this kid, John Mohamed Sanu, the slot receiver from Rutgers to the Bengals. Bernard Pierce, running back Temple, an interesting player, Ravens. Dwight Bentley, quarterback, Louisiana Lafayette to Detroit. So let's start with Mel.
Yeah, Mike Martin, the defensive tackle for Michigan. I tell you, we watch this guy a lot of time. We go through, we talk about college football every Saturday throughout the year. The guy was one of our favorite players. A guy that made plays, consistent, like the wrestling background for a defensive tackle, understands leverage, quick hands. You talk about a guy who uses his hands well, gets off blocked because of that. He's been in that middle. He's going up in practice against David Moak, a senior center who could be a late-round possibility in this draft. Production solid, 36 reps, strong in the upper body, powerful lower body as well. I like Mike Martin. All the kid did was go out and make plays. He knew he was going to be double-teamed. He knew he had to battle through that, and all that experience against Moak in practice. They had some fierce, competitive battles. Helped this kid. He was on a bad defense. He was the best player. Defense got better. He was still out there producing. Todd, I like Mike Martin. I think this is a nice third-round pick for the Tennessee Titans.
I call him Grunt. He's one of the all-time grunts. Just shows up every single day to work, does a great job fighting through double teams, and I think he's going to be a good player for the Titans.
I like this Mohamed Sanu that the Bengals just picked up. Cincinnati needs a receiver desperately, and Sanu, the all-time leading receiver in the Big East, can really help them. Did not run real fast at the combine. I think it scared some people. But over 115 catches this year. He works inside in the slot. He works outside. He's a factor in the red zone. He's okay after the catch. How about this catch right here, Mel? He's a wildcat quarterback. He's tough, instinctive. He will block. This is a very good football player. I like what Cincinnati's done in this draft.
Extremely smart, John. That's one thing. Super smart, Mohamed Sanu. Versatile, you see what he can do there. They said he knows the offense better than a lot of quarterbacks do. And once he ran that 4-5, Todd and John, that really helped him. That put any doubt about speed, separation, quickness, NFL ability. Once he ran that 4-5, and people forget, he's a big guy. He's not a little receiver. This is a big kid who can catch the football. Phenomenal hands.
The next player, Bernard Pierce, a running back from Temple. I think he's one of the more underrated running backs in this year's class. He reminds me, I'm not saying he's Arian Foster. I'm not going to go that far, but I do think his running style is a little bit similar. He's got big back. He does run a little bit too upright, but he's got lateral agility. And I like the way he can make that one cut and go. He also breaks a lot of tackles. Can catch the football out of the backfield pretty well, but he can continue to improve in that area, become more natural catching the ball. But for the Baltimore Ravens and what they like to do with their power run game, and with Ray Rice, he's not young anymore. He's taken a beating over his career. So bringing in a young back like Pierce to take some of the load off of him, I think it's a really smart pick by the Baltimore Ravens.
One thing he's got to work on, improve his natural pass receiving skills, his hands. Suspect right now.
Yep.
Right now he's a little one-dimensional as a runner, but a real good runner, Todd. Catching the football is not his forte. We look at defensive backs that have come off the board in this third round. The Detroit Lions, we said, they got a big need. They got to start drafting some defensive players. Please, Jim Schwartz, draft somebody to stop somebody on that side of the ball. They did with Dwight Bill Bentley out of Louisiana Lafayette, a kid who really did a good job for this program in that secondary. You saw him early in the year against Brandon Wheaton in Oklahoma State. Had a couple picks in that game, made a couple hits, part of a 6-tackle performance early in the year that kind of got the NFL's attention in that football game. 3 interceptions when he was a young sophomore, 3 interceptions this past year, 4.37 40, real quick feet. Good turning motion, good quick feet. Overall, you look at a guy who can make some plays, 5'10", 181 pounds, maybe the nickel, maybe the dime back, but in this league, you need multiple cover guys. The Detroit Lions, this is a big need going into the draft for them, Todd.
You know, he played with Janoris Jenkins in high school at Pahokee High. Try throwing on those two. Janoris Jenkins and Dwight Bentley in the same backfield as a high school quarterback. How do you beat that?
You don't.
You don't.
We got Mohamed Sanu, who you love. We met a couple weeks ago. You're raving about him. He's been drafted. Adam Schefter, what more can you add?
Boom, there was a hint of this to come yesterday. Actually, Mohamed Sanu got what he thought was a call from the Cincinnati Bengals in the first round of the draft telling him that the Bengals were picking him. He called his agent and told him. His agent, Mike McCartney, tweeted the news. Sanu to the Bengals. Only it turned out that a Rutgers student somehow got Sanu's phone number, called and made a prank call to Sanu, and the Bengals had not taken Sanu. Well, fast forward to today, and Sanu did go with the 83rd pick to the Cincinnati Bengals